Hey, how's it going? Well, I think I'm in the Matrix. I don't know. Um, yeah, basically today what we're gonna do is talk about a little bit more agents, since it's a hot topic. And what I want to show is a little bit of use cases and how this can be used. There's pretty much like two types of agents we can think of. Um, One is, for example, agents that you just give them a task and they go ahead and do it. That's more advanced and we'll get there. And then there's simpler agents which have automation, where you give them some task, but you also have some plumbing in place, right? So in this case, we're going to be using Make for today, but we could have used other tools, which we'll discuss in other episodes. But this is really cool since you'll see what I mean by having a shovel, an excavator, and actually being able to use it. So let me just dive in a little bit. But yeah, as you can see from last time, we still got the AI agent. Now, what we're gonna do is create a AI agent, and this time it's gonna be for a email summary. Now, what is the thing we're trying to fix or solve, right? So imagine you're at a company and you are, let's say, a pool company, right? Clear water. Yeah, you basically specialize in pools and you're selling pools. You have a lot of emails, you have a lot of clients, and what you want to do is make your life easier. Why? Because you don't want to spend all your day answering emails. What you want to do is actually go and sell pools or clean pools or whatever you do. So a little bit of that has to do with the way the business works. You still get a lot of emails, a lot of inquiries, and you got to see how to actually fix it. So one thing we could use is AI agents. We could actually build something that's useful and we can use it again and again and again, modify it, make it smarter. And that's pretty much one solution we're going to be working on. So yeah, like I said, you can go back to the last video. We can go into shovels and excavators and garden tools. But basically, if you just grab an email, right? You write that email, you reply to the person, and then you rinse and repeat again and again and again, right? So imagine you have, I don't know, 50 emails, right? Let's do a simple number. Like, I don't know, you have probably what? Yeah, let's say 50 emails, right? You have to respond. Maybe it's too much, but okay, let's bring it down. 10 emails, right? Per day, which is on the low side, up to 50, but let's say 10 emails, right? And these emails are a little bit cumbersome. You have to actually take your time and look at them, whatever it is. Suppose it takes you, I don't know, 10 minutes, right? It would be 100 minutes. You're basically wasting, I don't know if wasting is the best word, but basically using to actually respond to this. Those minutes you could get back if you didn't actually need to respond to it. Now, what's the issue? The issue is we can actually automate this. So we can get those 100 minutes back and actually go and, I don't know, fix a pool, sell another pool, clean a water tank, whatever you do, you'll have those minutes back, or even grab a cup of coffee. I don't know where you want to do, but if you don't actually put that into dimension, you actually understand where you're spending your time, it can get like really easy to get into the habit of thinking, it's just 10 minutes. Yeah, but if you do it 10 minutes 10 times a day, every single day, 5 times a week, um, every single month, every single year, that's a lot of pools you could be selling. So same thing. This is like pretty simple math. You can see it with anything. Like take any example you want, and you'll see there's a lot of time wasted. So a little bit this AI agent, this bot that we have here, we can basically use two things. One is, like I said, you just respond to emails like you're using a garden tool, and you just push and shove away, pun intended. And basically what you do is respond to every single email. That's one way to do it. Then the second way is actually, instead of that, let's get some data, right? So what we can do is use tools like NAN, like Make. There's a bunch of them. And what these tools do is they let us connect the plumbing, the piping between AI and systems that already work. Now, this is really important because this is like the gateway to actually starting to automate everything. Like I said, there's a bunch of them, but the most known are Make and NAN. They're really good. And when we see agents, you'll see what's the difference between a hard pipeline, like we're going to see today, and actually an agent that can have a little bit more autonomy. But regardless, this is still AI. We're actually getting rid of the manual intervention, the manual work. So I think this is a good starting point. So yeah, basically what do we want to do is grab those Excel sheets or whatever they are, put that data inside of Make or NAN, and then we want to use the excavator. We actually want to get, for example, analyze the data, summary of the day, sentiment analysis, risk detection, or whatever you want to call it. In this case, we're actually going to do a little bit of different prompts to get some specific information from this, okay? So if we go back to what are the tables that we're talking about, right? So we got date, we got email subject, email body, sentiment, priority, category, summary, and alerted. Now, let's go a little bit into directly the email summary, right? And I have an example here. For example, today, the email subject's inquiry about monthly pool maintenance. Email body, hi, I'm interested in scheduling monthly pool cleaning. Do you offer any discounts for recurring services? Blah, 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 blah. Like you can go ahead and like read all of this list. Just make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, so basically if you start looking at it, you can see there's different types of patterns. Like for example, check this one out. Special promotion. Congrats, you've been selected for exclusive swim gear deal. Click here to claim now. Like I sell pools. What are you talking about? You're gonna sell me this? Like really? Um I mean, that's kind of funny. I've seen that a lot. I don't know. When I do AI, I get messages of other people that are like, "Hey, you want this AI thing?" I'm like, "I'm already doing that. Why would I pay you?" It's like same thing here. Um, I'm a pool company, right? So why are you trying to sell me pool gear? I don't know, but that sounds a little fishy or scammy to me. But I don't know. I'm not an expert in that, but that's a little bit weird. So basically you can look at it. There's different ones, but some will get your attention. For example, this one, urgent repair needed. My pool filter has stopped working altogether. Water is getting cloudy. Please help ASAP. Like this guy, if you would get that message, and suppose I don't know, you've been out and about and just fixing pools and doing stuff, and then you come back, your cell phone's dead, and you look at your email and you see that message, and it's been, I don't know, 4 hours, 5 hours, or even your cell phone maybe didn't die, you just didn't look at it. Whatever, regardless the reason you don't look at it, because you don't check your email that often. So probably that person's gonna be mad. They're gonna be irritated, and they're gonna say, oh, you don't really care. I sent you an email, blah 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 blah. I want a refund. I don't know if that's possible for cloudy water, but whatever. So that's why this is really important, because these type of automations, they feel very dumb in a way, like very silly, but they have high impact. They are low deployment, like you don't really have to do a lot to get them out, and they have a really high reward if you do them correctly, right? This is not a magic like a silver bullet or anything. You have to be conscious of what you can automate and what you can't. But for example, this one's a good candidate to actually automate. So let's go back into it, not into the matrix. Let's not go into the matrix. Let's go back into the actual scenario. So yeah, if we go here, you can see we've got the date, email, subject, all the other fields that we're talking about, right? Okay. So what do I want to do with this? So one thing I can do is actually start splitting it up. So sentiment, right? I want to get from that email, I want to get a sentiment. Like for example, hi, I'm interested in scheduling a monthly pool cleaning. Do you offer any discounts? What is the sentiment to that email? So I could do that manually, or while I'm at it, I can let AI handle it and figure it out. So that's a little bit what we're doing with this prompt, which we'll see in a second. Then the other one, for example, is priority, category, and summary. Alerted, it's going to be interesting. We're going to use Telegram to actually send also an alert and tell us, depending on the level of the message, if we want to receive it or not. So let me just dive a little bit deeper into this. Basically this one, right? Sentiment. You're an expert customer support specialist for Clear Pools, a company based in USA with over 10 years of experience in pool maintenance and installation industry. Giving a customer message, generate separate response for each of the following 4 prompts. Okay, so this is one of the prompts, right? Friendly, neutral, upset, and these are examples. Thank you very much for your outstanding service. Friendly, I would like more information. It's like neutral, like, I don't know. Doesn't really convey a lot of information into it. I'm extremely disappointed with my pool cleaning service. Like, this guy's upset. He's probably gonna churn. So yeah, and one thing we can actually do, we'll see it in the actual application, is how we return this. Because if you give AI just the power to decide, it's probably gonna either return anything, or it's gonna be very unpredictable. So one of the things we want to do with this is actually give it a little bit more, give us more control and actually tell it how it has to behave. So in this case, we're going to say return only sentiment. That's going to be like a JSON sentiment, friendly, neutral, or upset. And that's going to be very simple for the model. In this case, we're going to use OpenAI's model, probably O1 mini, I think it is, which is a good compromise between like intelligence and cost. So we'll see that in a little bit, but yeah. Then the other one is, for example, priority. This one's interesting. You're in same thing, same priming or role playing. We'll see that in a bit. But you're an expert customer specialist for Clear Pools, a company based in USA, blah. Classify priority levels depending on critical, urgent issues requiring immediate attention, such as system outages, major service disruptions affecting multiple customers. Like if you have a leak and it's going everywhere and you have thousands of gallons just pouring out, probably you want to get onto it ASAP. So that's why you basically have a way to filter out and say, okay, critical, high, medium, low, etc. Like minor cosmetic, or maybe, I don't know, can you come and paint my pool? Or I have a scratch tile or whatever it is. Like, that's probably not gonna be that high in the rating for the priorities. Okay, so here are a couple of examples. My pool pump has stopped working and I need to fix it immediately. That's gonna be critical. And the rest of them, like, yeah, you can read them here, but basically that's gonna be one way, right? You're gonna be looking at it. Imagine you can do the exercise of um, you're basically thinking about this, and you're thinking the prompt like you would be doing it, right? So if I was doing this task, how would I do it? So I would actually read the email. I would check what the person is feeling and put it in that category. Imagine your boss told you, "Hey, you got to do this. You got to do a sentiment analysis and put categories into it." So I would probably like just scan through it and say, "Yeah, okay, this is critical or urgent, whatever." But you have to think how you're actually doing it to be able to relate that to the AI agent. So that's a little bit part of the job, is understanding our thought process and how we're actually going to go into it. So yeah, cool. So okay, we got this. We got a couple of rules so it doesn't misbehave, because I saw something that was doing something a little bit wonky with the JSON responses. So I'm like, just a carrot and a stick. I'm telling it, like, do not include the word JSON, because sometimes it would include the word JSON, because here I said return only JSON and it got a little bit confused. So I don't know. Just simple tips and tricks. Okay, category, same thing, like same company, same blah blah blah. You gotta classify it into scheduling, services, prices, quotes, repairs, others, examples. What are your office hours? That schedules to provide weekly pool maintenance services, prices, quotes, all that good stuff. Like, yeah, this one's pretty trivial. I can probably understand a little bit more because it makes a lot of sense. At least I think it does. So yeah, this one, same thing. We're gonna return one of these. Then what else do we have? We have summary. This one's kind of cool. The idea with the summary is basically suppose you have a long email, right? You can grab that email, synthesize it, and extract the core out of it and say, okay, out of this, I want to get the distilled essence of what the email is. So for example, these simple instructions are: identify the main purpose or issue presented, use clear and professional language to convey the essence of the message, and ensure the summary is concise, ideally with one sentence. Like, you don't want to blab on forever. Like, imagine your email is, I don't know, 20 20 lines, right? And your summary is 5,000 lines. There's probably something off with ChatGPT or whatever you want to call it, because it's not being succinct. It's not being very rational. It's just going to go on forever. So one of the things we do is also include some little rules, so it knows, like, hey, you can't go overboard here. Like, you really gotta just focus and generate a summary, so don't go off the rails. But yeah, for example, this one: hello, my pool here has stopped working and I need to fix it as soon as possible. Can someone come out? Summary: the customer requests immediate repair service for a non-functional pool here. Like, yeah, that's like really distilled. It doesn't have all the stuff we need. Like, maybe if you want to see the whole email, you can go and check it out, but at least you get out a quick bird's eye view of what's going on with the email. So I think that's really good to actually understand why we do these type of things. And one of them is because it's going to make our lives a lot easier, especially since we're already calling ChatGPT and everything. we can split it up into individual tasks, and that's what we're going to see next. So before we go on and look at that, I'm gonna show you a little bit of what this is, like a bonus nugget. This is actually the another excavator. Huh. This is the daily email drip. So this one's gonna be cool. Um, what we do with this is, suppose you got, I don't know, probably what, email 1, email 2, email 3, email 4, and you got a bunch more, right? On the first day, on day 1. And what you want to do is get an alert with the summary of all of them. So what we're doing with this daily drip is basically that. Uh, yeah, it's basically just grabbing all the emails that we already split up and got all that good precious information out of. What we're going to do is also generate another task, and this one, the only responsibility it has to do is create a daily email drip. So what I also added here, which is yeah, we have a pirate, I know. It's a persona, a role-playing persona, and it's something pretty common in what is advanced prompting. Let me know if you want to see more of these type of content talking about prompting, but sometimes it's a little bit yeah, like it's not really discussed thoroughly, and it's just glossed over. So what this daily email drip does, it needs to have a specific type of persona. What's a persona? It's a software engineer. I'm 30 years old. I have, I don't know, 2 cats, whatever the thing is. You give it like a type of virtual person and how you want that to actually act. It's not the same thing if I ask, I don't know, for example, ChatGPT. If I come here to ChatGPT and I tell him, hey, I'm not gonna say hey, but can you generate a cool email? I don't know. Um, I'm just, yeah, going a little bit with the flow, but can generate a cool text for email and need help sending a gift to a friend. Like, that's probably a weird email, but whatever. Like, I don't want to think about it, so I'm just asking. Here I'm using O3 Mini High, which is kind of cool. There's the other ones, Pro, etc., but I'm just using this one, right? Okay, so check this out. If I look here, you can see like subject, surprise, gift coming your way, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, it's generating Python code because it thinks I want a Python code. That's a different story, but you'll probably just get this. You don't need that part. But yeah, regardless, I can do the same thing. And I can, instead of doing this, I can say, uh, you are a specialist psychologist with 20 years in the field. Um, okay. Your task is the following. And then you go ahead and do the same thing, right? And yeah, it's reasoning because it likes to reason. And you can see here, it's a little bit different. What we got, the other one was more like generic. And this one's like a little surprise just for you. I hope this message finds you in great spirits. I've been thinking about you, etc. Right? So we can probably changes a couple times, and you'll see it behaves different. Like instead of psychologist, I can say, I don't know, vet tech or whatever. Like, and you'll see it flips. Like it's not gonna behave in the same manner. So that's why it's important always to think on the subject, on the persona of this prompt. What are we doing it? What are we doing with it? And how the system's gonna interpret. Okay. So for example, this one, a little surprise just for you. I hope you're doing great. After 20 years as a vet tech, I've learned that, like, yeah, it's gonna change, right? But we can go as far as we want with this, and it's a pretty cool technique. So yeah, that's one part, which is actually the role playing part. Then we also got priming. Priming is just like giving it small information, like when you're actually trying to get your lawnmower started, and you just like hit the priming button, and you're just like squirting gas into it, and then you pull the cord and it just starts. Well, priming for AI agents, and especially, or AI in generally, especially in the prompting techniques, is basically that it's little pieces of text that you add so it knows what we're about to do. It's like you give a toddler some instructions before he goes ahead and does that task. You can think of it something like that. But yeah, that's another interesting one. Yeah, so basically in this case, what we're doing is telling them that your automated system, you're creating a single concise daily newsletter from a list of customers. Each email entry has following fields: date, email, subject, blah blah blah. Using these fields, generate a customer. So we're already telling them what his persona is. And the priming is because we're giving them like these fields, and we're giving him some information so he can take it into account. See, that's kind of like I'm already saying him and it, like I'm not distinguishing between a person. It really, yeah, it gets a little bit fuzzy after a while when you do these type of things. Like working a lot with AI, yeah, it gets a little bit murky, but regardless. So here, using these fields, generate a daily customer email digest, structured human readable format. The digest should begin with a high level summary. So yeah, this is basically just a snippet of how it has to work. So again, email subject, sentiment, priority. This is all the stuff we already seen. The only thing is we're gonna generate digest and actually just spit it out to Telegram. So yeah. After listing all emails, provide concluding note of summary if needed, just to see how many emails, blah blah blah. So yeah. One thing that's really cool is this. This is in Spanish. Yeah. Text is in format MD and XML, which this feels kind of weird, but basically what XML and MD are, they're just formats of how you write text, especially in some text editors that you can get, like, I don't know, highlights and like links to other websites and stuff like that. You basically format it using text. You can actually format, and you can put, like, for example, line breaks. In this case, you put a lot of dashes, or you can put a hyphen or whatever you want to actually separate. So what are we doing this for? To actually know, like, okay, this part up to here, this was just like all the intro. And from here below, we're actually giving it an example. It's basically just splitting it up and giving it more precise information. Yeah, it's like going and doing a letter to a friend, or an email in this case, this scenario. You're not going to start with "see you later," then "hey, how's it going," and then you'll put the body of the email. That doesn't make sense. They're probably going to think you're having some type of mental breakdown or something. What you're going to do is probably just add, "hey, how's it going?" the email of the body, and then "hey, see you later, cheers," whatever you want to say. And that's normally what people expect. Now, AI is pretty smart. it knows, it understands the patterns. It learns patterns, better yet. But if you give it some type of structure, for example, Claude, it gets a lot of the XML and they recommend you use it. In ChatGPT, it's not, doesn't, like, it helps. I think it's actually good practice, but it's not necessary everywhere. But like I said, these type of changes, with time, you see they actually have an improvement. So yeah. Total emails received, critical, blah blah blah. Everything else, it's very simple. And then we generate the final digest, email body, subject, etc. This, we'll see in a second what this 33-point text is. And affirmative and easy instructions. Keep it simple, stupid, for me. uh, what is this? If you're not able to read your prompt, and you read this and it's all a mumbled, jumbled, crazy thing that nobody understands, then probably the AI is not going to understand it either. So that's what I mean by affirmative, because you're basically giving a clear instructions. You're not saying, hey, do this, but do that, but do this, but do that. You're being very straightforward, affirmative. You can also be negative and hit it with the stick and tell them, hey, no, I do not want you to do this. You can add rules. There's different techniques for it. And using instructions, like if I can read and understand, probably AI is gonna read it and also understand. That's why KISS is pretty important. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this part. Let's continue on the next one, which is actually get this out. So let's see. I've got a couple of mixed scenarios. Here we go. That's gonna be a bummer. Well, okay, yeah, I can zoom directly. I don't know why it did that. Okay, cool. Right. So what I'm doing is bringing down this email summary, which we have date, email subject, email body, sentiment, which is going to be filled in by AI, priority, category, summary, and alerted. This one's kind of cool. This one I have a Telegram bot that basically just spams me. It doesn't really spam me, but it sends me messages. I have it configured. We can go into that in another video, but it's going to be pretty simple to understand at least. So the first thing we're going to do is grab, for example, this one. I have my spreadsheet, which is this one, and it goes from A to H, which are the rows and columns we're going to need. So that's pretty simple. Range doesn't really matter if it's D, because I'm not really using everything where let's change this. Cool. Yeah, just typo. It doesn't really matter for this, because the stuff we're actually using to generate the email is A, B, and C. So that's why D didn't really matter, but yeah, whatever. Next step, like I said, we're gonna actually go ahead and split it up into different tasks. Why? Because if you do a one giant humongous prompt, which I've seen this 1,000 times, it's probably gonna get it wrong, especially in the old days. Like I'm talking about GPT 3, probably 2, or yeah, I think I started with GPT 3 when it was beta with OpenAI, so it was just starting. They were opening access, and you would tell a big instruction, and you would get really frustrated. You would get frustrated really quick because it didn't understand. So I've come to understand that the best way is to actually split up prompts into small actionable items that you can just tell them what you want. It's a lot easier. So instead of having one ginormous, humongous prompt, you have small prompts. So yeah, again, we have the email. That email, we hit the subject, the body, and we're gonna generate these fields. You can even add like a little bit of color, make it pop. Uh, yeah, let's make them pop. Like, uh, yeah, something like that. So we know these are like generated by AI. Yeah, cool. So, right, everything up until this point is empty. There is nothing here. You can check my sleeves. I have nothing. This is not being preparated before. It's like I'm just gonna grab these fields and hit it with this assistant, and we're gonna see how it rolls. So yeah, classify sentiment. That's the prompt that we discussed before. And if you look here, you can see connections. We're connecting to OpenAI. This make is a little bit, it's not complex. It's just you have to get used to it. But once you understand it, it's pretty simple. It's just drag and drop, no code. But yeah, this is the same thing we had before. You're a specialist for a Clear Pools, a company based in USA, like all of it, all the things we were talking about. This is exactly one to one. So if you go down, the only difference is here. Remember I said in the Obsidian we were talking about these itsy bitsy little thingies. This one, for example, and this is a placeholder. And what that does is actually add the email subject. So I can click here and you can see, for example, this one, email subject is inquire about monthly pool maintenance. Like that is actually information that is getting populated from the Google Sheet. You can see it's this one. That's that's where it's actually getting it from. So yeah, that's one of them. And of course, we're gonna have one per each prompt. Like I said, it's better to split this up into like a lot of prompts and think about it like you were doing this individually and not like you're doing it all at the same time. That's like one of the best ways. Same thing, there's another prompt. Then we got set category, set summary. This one's pretty, like, it's not hard to understand what it's doing, but yeah. There we go. Okay, there's some other things that we can also fiddle around with, which are max completion tokens and the messages. But for this one, I'm gonna keep it pretty simple. So we can actually just see the implementation and see how it works. But the gist of it is you grab data from the Google Sheet. This could instead of be a Google Sheet, it could have been directly email, or that Google Sheet could have been populated by another agent that just grabs emails and pops it into this list. So it's a way to actually store that information somewhere else. So we get the summary, we update the summaries. These little thingies, these are actually updating the tables. So if you look at it here, you can see, for example, summary, which is G in this case. This is going to get updated with the result. And what is the result? This is customer inquires about the details and pricing, blah, 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 which is this node. Like it basically goes from one to the other, and you can use previous nodes data to populate what are you doing. So we get Google Sheets, we get the summary, we update the summary. Then we do this, like, remember this is all in sequential. So first it's going to classify, then it's going to set category, then it's going to get the summary, then it's going to update. And after that, this one's important, it detects priority. Remember I said, oh, we were going to send also a message, right? So here I have a Telegram bot, which basically what it's doing is after we update the priority here, you can check that if the priority is high or critical, then and only then we're gonna send a message. I have like a Telegram bot, and I'm basically just gonna hit it with the result, which is in this case it's gonna be what's the summary. Like, yeah, it's gonna go ahead and I'm gonna update the alerted what for, so I can also see if I got something like if I actually send out that alert. This is pretty simple. You can go a lot more complex. You can add error handling. You can do a bunch more conditions, but for this, it's pretty simple. It makes sense. So if I run it, we're going to see it starts to actually go ahead and populate stuff. And this one's running. It's actually going to Telegram. And hey, I got a notification. You can hear my phone. Two notifications. So I go here and we can see this crazy bot, which is my bot. And this guy just sent us a message and he's like, yeah, customer reports an issue with chemical balance of their pool and requests assistance resolving it. And a customer urgently requests repairs for malfunctioning appliance. Like, this is cool. We're getting alerts for two things that were critical. And if we go back to this summary table, you can see that, for example, the sentiment is neutral. I am interested. Dear ClearPoints, indicate your payment is overdue. Like, yeah, somebody's upset. You need to pay. Friendly. Congrats. You've been selected. Like, yeah, the tone's friendly, but I don't know. It's kind of weird. This one, my pull filter stopped working. It's getting cloudy, so he's kind of upset. And the priority here, we can actually look at it, is critical. Like this one, yeah, my pull filter stopped. Yeah, you should probably go and check that out. So, and if we go here, category, services, others, repairs, like we can even disclose, like send Telegram messages based on the category also. You can do whatever floats your boat. It's really, really dynamic. The summary, customer inquires about the details and the cost of monthly pool maintenance services. I don't know. Summary, customer requests installation of a new pool pump. And the one with repairs, customer urgently requests repair services for a malfunctioning appliance. And that's what we actually got in Telegram. And if you look here closely, you can see this one and this one was alerted. And that makes sense because it's what I got. Like, yeah. That's pretty much for this part. We can check it out with another drip, or we can do something else, which is this one. Let's generate a couple more. Let's grab here and generate 5 more. So what I'm doing is, you can see here, it's the same thing we had here. I'm just grabbing it and I'm gonna tell it to actually generate 5 more. So yeah, I'm just gonna grab this and paste it here and tell it to generate, I don't know, 5 more. Why? Yeah, why not? So it's reasoning. This model is interesting, is mini high. So it actually takes its time and it tries to understand what we're doing. Yeah. So let's see how it behaves. So yeah, this one's already doing a great job. Full up pool heaters. I don't really care about the rest of the stuff because we're gonna actually run this through. So let's just say generate only subject and body and separate them. Oh yeah, only subject per each row. So again, we could do prompt engineering stuff, but for this, it's really not needed. You're trying to use a bazooka or a nuclear bomb for, I don't know, just killing a roach. Like, it's not necessary. So yeah. Subject, follow up, pull here. So let's grab one of these, like for example, this one. Let's go here and let's add this and add this. Sorry, I didn't see that. So yeah, let's grab this one. And if we go here, you can see this one, for example. So this is a new one, and same thing, we can add another one if we want to. It's really, let's just do one more for good measure. This one, what do you want? A refund. You like, yeah, give me a refund. Okay, cool. You want a refund? We'll give you a refund. So yeah, okay, so let's go back and let's run this again. We didn't check if they were already alerted, so it's not gonna take it into account. But we could also add here before the Telegram bot to actually check if if it was running. But yeah. Okay, maybe I exceeded something. Well, yeah, I think that one died. Okay, let's check this one, the daily email drip, right? So this one, what it does is same thing. We grab from the Google Sheets, for example, these ones. Yeah, so we grab this, the Google Sheet, and we generate the daily summary. And this is what we already had here, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it. Same thing. We have the prompt, and what we're gonna do is call it. So I'll just hit it. Yeah, so basically here we have two more that we got here from the ChatGPT o3 mini high, right? So we got the follow-up and this one from the body. And what I did was also add that here to the email body, so we can see how they actually update also. Yeah, and if I go here again and just call it once more, and I run it again, you can see it's going. Telegram bot. And I even got a notification. Like, I'm getting spammed. And if I go back here, we can see that this stuff is getting populated again. Yeah. See, it takes a little bit of time, but it actually gets sent. So here, I'm checking regarding a pool here. He's neutral, high services, whatever. This guy is upset. I noticed that you charged me twice. Please review duplicate payment. Like, yeah, he's really upset, and it's gonna be high. And we got alerted. So yeah, we can see here notifications. Customer requests a refund for a duplicate charge on their account. That one's pretty interesting. And if we go here to the actual emails, daily drip, we can see this one in action. Now this one's going to be interesting because when we run it, we're actually going to see how this gets all the emails and just sends it out. Imagine like we got all the emails from yesterday and now it's today in the morning and we want to see everything. So we're just going to add the alert with our coffee and we're going to get this summary. So it's running, it's going ahead, and it's starting to process. It takes a little bit of time, but it doesn't take that long, to be honest. And boom, there we go. So for example, here we got the emails, we got critical, medium priority, detailed breakdown, uh, urgent, account access issue, the summary, and yeah, basically is really high level. But we can see here the summary of what went on yesterday. And yesterday we only got the ones that were really high priority, critical or high, and the rest we didn't. But here you can see all of them. Of course, this you can personalize however you want, but it's really cool to see how we went from a manual system to something that we can actually use on a daily basis. So yeah, I think this is pretty cool, and I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I've been enjoying myself creating these videos and giving context of how this AI stuff works. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There's gonna be a lot, and I mean a lot more stuff that we're gonna be doing. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this, please considering give me a thumbs up, subscribing, commenting. Yeah, I really appreciate it, and have an awesome day. Thank you very much.